Can Dana fix this thing? Can Oregon get back to being the team they were at the start of the year when they'd excited everyone, built one of the best resumes in college basketball, were trending towards being a top 2 or 3 seed, at least in the big dance? Yes. Yes, he can. I have seen Dana Altman take a team that you have given up on, lost hope with, and turn it around in the final weeks of the season. Lest we forget what happened 1 year ago. At this time, Oregon's resume was, even though they're on a horrible 3-game losing streak right now, 2 games on the road to unranked teams and 1 game at home to a team that had a sub 500 record in Big Ten play in Nebraska. That was on Sunday, and that game, yikes, not good for many reasons. A year ago at this time, Oregon was still in a worse position to get to the NCAA tournament because right now they don't have to do anything crazy over their final 9 regular season games to get themselves automatically into the tournament. They would have to do something crazy to recapture their status as a top 3 or 4 seed. Right now, I would just love for them to get in as a 6 or 7 as a non-automatic qualifier, which would mean winning the Big Ten championship, which in I think 15-team tournament, 14-team tournament, and 18-team conference, not going to be as straightforward as it was a season ago. It's just, there are a lot of good teams in the Big Ten. We've seen how difficult it is, but Pac-12 basketball was really good last year, and Oregon made a run. So the question becomes, do I believe they can do it? Yes. Do I feel like they're going to do that this week? No, because you got Michigan on Wednesday and Michigan State on Saturday. Not a good time for a road trip up north to the Mitten State. That is a poorly timed trip for the Ducks, but they put themselves in this spot. They're more than capable as a basketball team of winning both of those games. And if they do, all will be forgiven. Well, okay, not all. Some will be forgiven for what they've done in the last week. But winning one game, either one, don't care, would be great. This question came from LD. Mailbag. Outside of the 3-point shot selection, what things would you say need to be fixed to get back on track for the men's basketball team? Well, I agree with the premise of your question. You know, sometimes people, when they're on this side of the microphone, get asked a question. I don't accept the premise of your question. No, I fully accept and agree with it. The shot selection is so maddening, and this falls on the coaching staff as much as it falls on the players. Coaching staff have called out the guys a couple times this year, saying, we had a game plan, didn't stick to it. One time Dana Altman, I forget which game, literally said guys went rogue. I think that was the Purdue game. We had a game plan and, we went rogue on offense. Like that's literally what he said. And I'd never heard that before. Like that's concerning. And it has continued to spiral since then. But Oregon is not a good 3-point shooting team for various reasons. Keyshawn Barthelemy has come back down to earth. Jackson Shelstad's also cooled off a bit. Nate Biddle is streaky. TJ Bamba is bad shooting threes, but they don't necessarily take horrible shots all the time. They're just too willing to settle. And what they have to do to maximize their offensive potential and get back to what they were early in the season, get Nate Biddle more post touches, the way they did with N'Faly Dante last year. Get him in more pick and roll situations like they did with Dante, an adjustment I called for during the season, and then that became Oregon's entire offense down the stretch, Kuznard and Dante running a pick and roll. They rode that to a Pac-12 tournament championship run, of course. But they have got to be dead set on getting the ball into the paint to create better looks on the outside. And that 100% starts with 2 guys, Jackson Shelstad and TJ Bamba. I want to start with Bamba because he is not shooting the 3-point well. It is a historic regression. Historic. This is a veteran guy, 5th year of college basketball. He has always been in the mid to upper 30s. He's always been a great 3-point shooter, and this year he's bad, but he is still trying to shoot his way out of it, and I'm not opposed to that. He needs to hit the shot for Oregon to have a good offense. You can't have a 2-guard that can't shoot. What you need to have, though, is a 2-guard in TJ Bamba that takes the ball and first and foremost gets into the paint. When he drives, he is so strong. He can finish with either hand. He is crafty. He can get his shot off in traffic. He is really tough to stop. He can get to the free throw line too. He needs to shoot no fewer than 8 2-point shots inside the free throw line before he shoots a single three. Get the ball to go through the basket, maybe get yourself to the free throw line, then try to shoot the catch and rhythm, or the catch and shoot three in rhythm. But when he comes down the floor and just a guy sagging off, and rather than taking that space to start his drive, he just pulls up for three, I rip my hair, what little I have up there, off of my head. Just so we're clear, I intentionally keep my hair short. I could grow as much as I want. But now let's go to Shelstad. He's got to be more aggressive. And this actually goes into John's question. Do you think Shelstad needs to start being a little more aggressive offensively? In the game last night, it looked like he was way too timid, not creating his own shot or even wanting the ball. I feel like the offense needs to start running through him for Oregon to start having a successful February and March. 100% agree. He does not, however, have to be all the way aggressive scoring the basketball, but he has to be able to do a better job creating for others. So Shelstad this year had a horrible start shooting the ball, and it was puzzling. You went, wait, as a true freshman, he was mid to upper 40s in field goal percentage and mid 30s 3-point percent, and he's getting worse as a sophomore, and he was. But he shot his way out of it, and in the start of Big Ten play, he was awesome. Teams have made some adjustments now, but he's shooting 44% from the field and 37% from three. That's where I expect him to be. Here's the problem. He is averaging fewer than 6 assists per game. Now, he leads Oregon in assists with 59 this year. Keyshawn Bartholomew is second with 57 total. But Shelstad is so quick off the ball, he should be able to average 3 to 4 assists per game. And the fact that he doesn't is 100% on the coaching staff in addition to himself. But when he takes the ball on offense, let's say Oregon gets out in transition, they try to run, can't find the right pass. All right, let's set up the offense. Shelstad just kind of passes and walks away. That can't continue. It cannot continue. He has to be willing to get downhill and create for himself. He is a lethal mid-range and float game player. He's not a super big guy, so some defenders can make it tougher on him. But he has to find a way to use his quickness to get around those guys and create opportunities for his teammates, because he does not rack up assists in the way that he is fully capable of. And he has to score, of course. If he doesn't score, that's a problem for Oregon. But his assist totals to me are way too low. He has not had 5 or more assists in a game since January 12th at Penn State. He had 17 points and 8 assists. By the way, Oregon won the game. And their offense came out clicking early and often. He had 8 assists in that game. Since then, he has had 8 assists in the 5 games that have followed. That, as much as his score, he has not scored the ball well all the time, but he's going to get points. He's been in double figures all but one of the last 9 games, and he was scoreless at UCLA, only took 2 shots. That's not okay. But he needs to create. He's got to get, so Bamba needs to drive to finish, and Shelstad needs to drive to float or pass more. That's how Oregon, I think, offensively gets back to where they were at the beginning of the season. But more than even those 2 things, Dana's got to get these guys' heads right, because they came out in a must-win game against Nebraska at home, and they were flat. They were flat and started slow. So a lot of guys have got to turn things around. Dana, Shelstad, Bamba, Biddle's got to get going again. Bartholomew needs to find his stroke. A lot of guys have to turn things around. But this is going to be a tough week for Oregon Hoop. It is a tough week for Hoops. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. But until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and go Ducks.